Hey guys, it's about beer 30. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews. Today's beer comes from Bell's Brewing. This is their Black Note Stout. An awesome, impressive beer. I think several times that I've had it. This is the 2017 edition. It does have the package on date of 10/05 of 2017. This is a bourbon barrel edition of their Black Note their Stout. And it's 11.2% big beer, one you probably should enjoy at home, being this magnitude, or have a designated driver. Doubt you're going to see a 2017 anywhere now. These things are snatched off the shelf. If they do make it to the shelf, they usually disappear as soon as they come into the beer stores. One of highly sought after beer from them. It's probably one of their best beers in my opinion. And Bell's is up in Michigan. This was sent to me by my brother Rico, my brother in craft beer, Rico. He sends me a bunch of beers, guys, and has for several years now. A long time. Probably one of my best subscribers. Great guy. And I do appreciate everything that he sends me. And he sends me quite a bit. So, Rico, you're awesome, sir. You are outstanding. And I do appreciate everything that you send me, sir. So, with this being said, let's jump over to Untappd and see, because Beer Advocate just clumps them all together. And where Untappd usually has them designated by year, and they have this one designated. They have the 2017 here listed. And of course, it says it's no longer being produced because it's a 2017 edition. And it has a fairly, long description, but I am going to read it because it's an awesome beer. The couple of times that I've reviewed it, I've not reviewed the 2017 edition before. I think I've done a 14 and a 12. So it's always a pleasure to get one of these beers. 65 IBUs according to Untappd, 11.2%. It says one of the most sought after stouts in Bell's history, and I would not argue with that one iota. It is. Their Expedition Stout and the Black Note Stout are probably two of my favorites from those guys as far as stouts go. And now that what I'm hearing, they're not going to be distributing their beers in Virginia or this part of Virginia. I'm not going to be able to get my hands on any for myself if it did show up. And like I said, this beer, when it did show up, if it did show up around here, left the beer store the same day. And you probably had to be on the list to get one, and that's probably all you could get. So, it says one of the most sought after stouts in Bell's history, Black Note Stout blends the complex aromatics of Expedition Stout, which is an awesome beer, with the velvety smooth texture of double cream stout, and ages in the combination in a freshly retired oak bourbon barrel for months. It doesn't say how many months. The resulting harmony of flavors captures the finest features of all three components: malty notes of dark chocolate, espresso, and dried fruits, all buoyed by the warmth and fragrance of the bourbon barrel, aimed squarely at the stout and bourbon aficionados. Black Note makes a grand statement about the art of the dark. And it is, like I said, this is probably their premier bourbon barrel aged stout. It is highly sought after. Doesn't hang around long when it shows up, guys. Now there may be a bigger distribution around Michigan and some of the stores there, but around here, if it did show up, it disappeared the same day. A lot of sought after, like Hop Slam and some of the others that have a cult following, and everybody snatches it up because they're so awesome. They are very tasty beers. So, we got the ABV, we got the bottle on date, we got the IBUs, so that is all we need to talk about. So let's start pouring and see what we got with the 2017 edition. Nice hiss, a little bit of smoke. And with 11.2, we're going to go right down the center here, guys. Pitch black coming out of the bottle. Definitely looking forward to this beer because it is, like I said, probably their most premier stout. Their most sought after stout. So, about a finger of head on that pour. Great looking stout, pitch black, guys. There's absolutely no light coming through the beer. So, great looking beer. To the nose we go. Rich roasted malt, hints of bourbon, a little bit of molasses, some bittersweet chocolate. And there might be even some dark fruit in there. Not so prominent right now, cold out of the fridge, but we might get some more of those aromas and flavors as it warms up, which we will do. Smells awesome. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Rico. Very, very, very tasty. Wow, that is delicious. It's absolutely delicious, guys. Absolutely delicious. The bourbon notes are there, the roasted malt there, a little bit of molasses and bittersweet chocolate. Probably some dark fruit in there too once it warms up, but awesome beer. Alcohol is hidden as it can be for 11.2%, guys. So very well made beer. Very, very well made. Just the Expedition Stout, which this is based on, is an awesome world-class beer. So those bourbon notes add to that, in my opinion. There's a lot of people that don't care for bourbon. They've had a bad experience at one time or another in their younger life and drank too much and probably had it coming back out through their nose, and that's not a pleasurable experience, and don't care for the bourbon taste anymore. I have a friend of mine that doesn't care for bourbon because that is exactly what happened to him. Drank too much one time and it come out his nose, and usually when that happens, that will turn you off from bourbon from there on. A lot of the times anyway. So let's sip on this. It's right out of the fridge and we'll come back and see where it ends up. Alright guys, I'm back. I've been sipping on it for a while now. Nice flashing of stuff on the glass. The bourbon notes are there, but they're not off the chain like some of the other ones that I've had. It is a very impressive beer. The alcohol is well hidden. Maybe a little bit of dark fruit going on in there now that it's warmed up. The black molasses are supposed to malt, and slight hints of the bourbon notes. I don't think it's quite as outstanding as it was maybe 6, 8, 10 years ago when I first started doing beer reviews. It is very impressive. I think the Bourbon County series has a little bit more bourbon notes than this one has, but it's still a very tasty beer to drink. A great final beer of the evening, which it is for me. Very enjoyable. I think this is a pricey beer to buy if you can get your hands on, especially around here if it shows up. Maybe not so much around Michigan where it's brewed, but it's still a very impressive beer. Like I said, I'm not sure I'm going to give it a 10 grade on this one, but still very impressive. Final chug. Very smooth for 11.2%, guys. I will say that. Very well made. But I'm not going to give it to 10 this time. I'm going to give it to A+. The A. Kicking the door on to be a 10. I'd like to see a little bit more bourbon notes than what I'm getting on this beer. It's there, but it's kind of subdued to me. I think they could have left it in the barrels a little longer, in my humble, honest opinion. 98 for me, guys. That's where I'm going to put this. definitely worth picking up if you can get your hands on it, if you like this style of beer. Very tasty. So let's run over to Beer Advocate. They have 4.54, world class. Not the best, good numbers, but not the best numbers I've seen from those guys. I would agree with those numbers. And over to Untappd for the final check-in, they have it at 4.39. Definitely not the best numbers from those guys on this beer. So that's more into the A category also. So it's basically unanimous, guys. It's an A beer for me and both of the sites here. There are beers that have more bourbon notes than this, but still very tasty. So if you've had the 2017 edition of the Bell's Black Nose Stout, let me know what you think. Till we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.